Very good morning, friends. So I hope you're all doing safe and healthy. Well, in this particular entire month, I've spent time on discussing a very practical oriented topic, and that is SCA, Service Concession Arrangements, what we call IFRIC 12. Now, in this particular last video on IFRIC 12, I am going to discuss the accounting models. Well, if you remember in the previous two videos, I was discussing about the accounting model, and the first one aspect I talked about was on the revenue in the books of the operator arising from construction as well as from upgradation or operating and maintenance of the infrastructure. In the second video on accounting, I was talking in terms of the asset, the infrastructure in the books of the operator, where we said we are going to either consider a financial asset accounting, that is follow Ind AS 109, or an intangible asset accounting, that is follow the Ind AS 38, or maybe a blend of the two, that's called a bifurcated model. So in this particular video, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you three different examples. We're going to look at the features of the contract, and we're going to decide what kind of accounting model is to be applied in these three cases. Let's find this out in detail in this video. भाई खुशखबरी और खुशखबरी, जो बच्चे अपने CA फाइनल की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और इस वक्त अनअकैडमी पर आप अपनी सब्सक्रिप्शन प्लान कर रहे हैं, तो इस वक्त एक बम्पर ऑफर चल रही है लिमिटेड पीरियड ऑफर के लिए। ये ऑफर 25 को शुरू हो रही है और 28 अक्टूबर को खत्म हो जाएगी, जिसके अंदर अगर आप अपने CA फाइनल ग्रुप 1 की तैयारी करना चाहते हैं तो, और इसके अंदर आप प्लान करते हैं 6 मंथ्स की सब्सक्रिप्शन, तो आपको 1 मंथ एक्स्ट्रा मिलेगा, और अगर आप 12 मंथ्स प्लान कर रहे हैं तो उस पर आपको 2 मंथ्स एक्स्ट्रा मिलेंगे। हाँ, अगर आप मान लीजिए CA फाइनल ग्रुप 2 की तैयारी कर रहे हैं तो उसके अंदर ग्रुप 1 ग्रुप 2 दोनों की कॉम्बो ऑफर में भी आपको 6 मंथ्स पर 1 मंथ एक्स्ट्रा मिलेगा। और ये ऑफर केवल फाइनल नहीं लेकिन इंटरमीडिएट पर भी एप्लीकेबल है। इंटरमीडिएट के लिए अगर आप अपनी सब्सक्रिप्शन प्लान कर रहे हैं तो 12 मंथ्स पर आपको 2 मंथ्स एक्स्ट्रा मिलेंगे और 24 मंथ्स पर आपको 3 मंथ्स एक्स्ट्रा मिलेंगे। ये ध्यान रखिए कि ये एक लिमिटेड पीरियड ऑफर है, तो आपने अगर सब्सक्रिप्शन प्लान की है तो 28 से पहले कर लीजिए। साथ में मेरा कोड इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं CAKB10, आपको 10% डिस्काउंट भी मिलेगा और साथ में एक्स्ट्रा नंबर ऑफ मंथ्स भी मिलेंगे। तो आइए, लेट्स क्रैक इट। Well, let's have a look at the first example which is given in front of you regarding a hospital. Now imagine the grantor gives the operator the job of construction of a hospital. Now let's look at the terms. In terms of the arrangement, the operator receives a fixed amount of revenue. Focus on the word fixed amount of revenue, subject to deductions for lack of availability. Well, there might be deductions, but at the end of the day, the amount which the operator is going to get is fixed. So which means he is getting a contractual right, which is supposed to be, based on an unconditional right to receive. So revenue is not dependent upon any other factor like a usage, for example. Deductions would only reflect the failure to meet a certain quality standards. So nevertheless, there might be deductions due to lack of availability. So, but that nevertheless does not dilute the fact that there is no unconditional right to receive. So in this particular case, a financial accounting model would apply. Let's look at another example. Imagine the grantor has given the operator the construction of a toll road. The amounts receivable by the operator is subject to a little variation in practice because the route is an established route with a highly predictable levels of tolls. But in any case, even though the predictions might be good, even though it might be something which is a very established route, well, that can ensure income, but it doesn't give you an unconditional right to receive money. So in this particular case, we cannot use a financial asset accounting model because you might be quite certain about getting an amount. But what is important for FA financial asset accounting model is that you should be assured of an unconditional right to receive. Now, since the amount is based on the right to be charged to the public users, and the amount depends upon the usage of the infrastructure. Now, irrespective, there may not be variations as expected because it's an established rule, doesn't make any difference to the assessment. Let's have a look at another example, which could be a blend in terms of both the models. Now imagine that there is a rail concession. So in this particular case, the grantor pays the operator any shortfall between the actual benefit before interest and tax obtained through charging users and a fixed minimum. So basically you can say in this particular case it's a blend because there is a guarantee in terms of a shortfall. So when there is a guarantee by the grantor in terms of shortfall, that is indicative that there is an unconditional right to receive. But at the same time, there is also a right to charge the public users, and that depends upon the usage of the infrastructure. So in this particular case, we can say because of the guarantee factor, there is an unconditional right, and simultaneously, since it is, the amount is based upon the usage by the public users, it's a blend in terms of both a financial asset and an intangible asset. So in this particular case, a bifurcated model of accounting would apply. So with this particular video, we come to the end of our discussion on IFRIC 12. So what I've done a series of almost like 10 videos in this particular month, starting from the point of view of a litmus test conducted in terms of identifying IFRIC 12, moving to a 3-step model which I created, which gives me a concrete conclusion whether this IFRICs would apply or not. Looking at the practical difficulties in terms of a partial regulation setup, and then looking at the accounting aspects in terms of the revenue, in terms of the right to access of the infrastructure, and choosing an accounting model. So I'm going to come with some more interesting videos on another issue in the coming month with you. Till then, thank you for watching. Take care and goodbye.